Gurudev Pranam.
Pranam.
You have explained the advantages of practicing Kriya Yoga, Samadhi Bhavanartha, Klesh Tanu Karanarthascha. Today's sutra, it mentions about the types of kleshas. What are the sufferings? The sutra is avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesaha, kleshaha.
You have some kind of suffering, and I have some kind of suffering. Everybody has suffering in the world in some form or other, because the suffering, the source of suffering is lacking. When you lack something, suffering comes. Besides physical ailments, ailing, suffering is just lacking. When you lack your need, then suffering comes. Whatever you needed money, you needed a house, you needed a car, you needed something. So you feel some need in your mind, some desire. Desire arises on the surface of the mind, and out of that the suffering takes place. Because when you do not get it, then suffering comes. Gita says, Dhyayate pishana bhungsha, sangas teshu pajayate, sangat samjayate kama kamat krodhavijayate. That is tension. When you constantly think of material things, then tension prevails and automatically suffering takes place. Suffering does not come from intellectual or spiritual. Intellectual comes spiritual cultivation. If you cultivate spiritual, like pranayam, yoga, dhyan, these things do not bring suffering. Study, reading, storybooks, they don't bring suffering. But suffering brings only when you are craving for material things. So that is klesha, suffering. We have been talking of suffering because suffering can be easily removed by Kriya Yoga. Because by Kriya Yoga we get samadhi. We experience samadhi. Klesha tanu karanartha samadhi bhavanarthascha. By the practice of Kriya Yoga, samadhi can be attained. Taposvalta Ishya pranidhanam. Ishya pranidhan brings samadhi. Patanjali also says, Ishya pranidhan brings samadhi. Ritam bharatasya pragya. There the pragya, the knowledge, is ritambhar, full of knowledge, full of truth, truthful. So, this thing, Patanjali says, are of 5 kinds. Avidya, asmita, raga, desha, abhinivesha. Avidya, asmita, raga, desha, abhinivesha. Avidya is the foundation. Because only avidya, if you just say avidya, all sorts of suffering comes. You don't have to talk about other things. Avidya, asmita, rag, desh, abhinivesh, nothing needed. Avidya itself is the whole mass of suffering. Am I clear?
Yes. Before we go to next sutra, I want to ask you one thing. Different rishis, they mention different types of sufferings. Patanjali says 5 kinds, and in Upanishad we find Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik. I think there are other classes of thoughts also. It depends upon their realization.
Yes, all they have their different realization. They have their different mentation.
Yes.
Mental outlook, So that way they have received.
And on the basis of their realization, they make the sutra.
Yeah, they have laid down the sutra.
Yes. So here, avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh. I think these 5 kinds of sufferings, they include all the sufferings we have, maybe mental suffering, spiritual suffering, mundane suffering.
as he explains, it seems so. All the sufferings are included
Yes.
within 5 kinds. But I say only Asmita is enough for all the 5. Only avidya is enough for all the 5. Only raga is enough for all the 5. I say Abhinivesh is enough for all the 5.
So if one klesha is there, then there can be chances of other
This is
kleshas
all
also.
classification.
Yes.
Different classification has been done by Patanjali, and classification makes things better to understand. So Patanjali has made this.
Next sutra, Gurudev. I read. Avidya kshetram उत्तरेषां प्रसुप्त तनु विच्छिन्न उदाहरणम.
Avidya Kshetra Uttaresham. Avidya is the beginning. And Avidya Asmita Ragdesh Abhinivesh is the beginning of Patanjali's classification. So Avidya is the field for all the 4. Avidya is the field for all the 4. I already told that only Avidya itself is covering all suffering. So Avidya is the field for all the 4, and they exist. How? It is being explained now. First called
Prasupta.
Prasupta. They remain in different forms in the mind, Avidya, in the mind, So first is Prasupta. Prasupta is completely unknown. It's not visible. It's existing in a person, very visible, like a boy who may be an artist, but his art, his talent of art is Prasupta. Prasupta means now is not manifested yet. He is drinking milk of the mother, and this is not manifested yet. It is now Prasupta in him. So Prasupta, many of the karmas in the sanskar, Prasupta, in the Prasupta form, in the sleeping form, in the dormant form. Even spirituality is in the dormant form. Spirituality, Kundalini. Kundalini is sleeping, is to be awakened, dormant. So, Prasupta is when the karma, when the sanskar is not seen, is not visible, is not manifested yet. That is Prasupta.
The next one is Tanu.
Tonu is fine, is all germinated, it's just germinated. Tonu is fine, like the boy who was to be an artist, he now started using pencils and colors and forms and takes deep interest in that. He even forgets his mother's milk or food, He is busy in drawing and says that he has no time now to eat or time now to go to play. So then it's a deep interest in subject in the beginning of life, automatically called Tonu. Tonu means fine. Is all germination, beginning.
Now comes Vichinna.
Vichinna is, for instance, the boy was drawing and suddenly his very dear friend came and called him. Then he forgets the painting and rushes to the boy, to the friend. So, it's Vichinna. It's cut up. One karma is doing, but when another karma comes and cuts it up, then that is called Vichinna. Vichinna means separation. It's clear, eh?
Yes.
Somebody is a businessman. He was talking with his friend about money about bank, about all this, all these things. And suddenly he heard that his wife has fainted and has gone taken to the hospital. Then this is broken and he rushes to hospital.
Yes.
He stops his friend and says that, no, I cannot talk with you, I have some problem. My wife is in the hospital. So he took a car and rushes to the hospital. So this is vichinna. All the time it happens in the world. All the time it happens. In every field it happens. You do something and then forget it and go to another one for the time being.
Well, not only in the field of action, sometimes mental thoughts also.
Also one thought is thinking.
Yes.
You are thinking one thought, it is playing, going, and then suddenly another thought comes and disturbs it.
Yes.
So this is vichinna. Vichinna. And better that there should not be any vichinna. When you are sarvam vastu bhayanitam bhuvinyanam vairagami bhava.
Yes.
So it's only vairagya which gives abhaya. So vichinna can be reduced by vairagya. When there is vairagya better, then vichinna is less.
Yes. I think Vairagya is in the field of spirituality, and when we are in the field of action, I think we have to maintain something. So people keep guard. No, they keep a signboard that don't disturb.
Yes.
I am reading.
Yes.
Maintain silence.
Yeah.
So one sanskara is cut off by another sanskara, that is vichinna.
Vichinna.
And the last one is udaranam.
Udaranam means at the moment what this the karma, the thinking and the function that you are doing at the moment is udara. Udara is manifested. You are a painter, your mind is now painting, full of painting, and you are working with this color on canvas, So that is udara now. Now udara, you are painter, that is udara. Clear.
Yes.
Open, clear. It is playing now. The sanskara that is dominating, you see, it is interesting to notice. The sanskara that is dominating, that is udara, also works before sleep and also is shown after sleep. After sleep, immediate thought is udara.
Yes.
And before sleep, your thought is udara. If somebody's wife is in the hospital, as I said, or some other thing like his business affairs are there, so his affairs. So it will be before he sleeps, that thing will play in his mind. In the hospital, wife is in the hospital, what is happening to her, how she is, So that thing will be playing in the mind. And after sleep, when the sleep is over, he's wake up. The moment he wakes up, he finds that his wife he sees his wife's face, and in the hospital, what is happening, this kind of thing. So udara sanskara also plays role before sleep and after sleep.
So, here, when a person is busy in udara sanskar, he can fully engage himself in the subject he is interested.
He is engaged, that is why udara.
So it gives the maximum pleasure.
Udara means on the surface. There are many things under the water, but one football is served on the surface. One football has air, so it is on the surface. But there are many things under the water. Similarly, at the depth of the mind, there are many, many things. But the thing that is now active, dominating, working on your mind, surface of the mind, that is udara.
So it gives the maximum happiness, we can say, because we are...
Yeah, happiness is always there. Even Pashutta Tonu, there's also Tonu, and Tonu gives happiness also. But this is the real happiness.
Yes. Thank you, Gurudev.
Thank you.